Greetings, beloved. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Creme Constellation, where I use astrology as a tool to gain clarity and self awareness. So, today I wanted to talk to you about your big three. What is a big three? What does it have to do with you? And how can knowing your big three benefit you in your life? So, in astrology, when we talk about a big three, when somebody asks you what your big three is, they are referring to your ascendant, also known as your rising sign, your sun sign, also known as your star sign, and your moon sign. Those are your big three. Why? Because they influence your persona, your personality the most. They are the building blocks of who you are, how you express yourself, how you approach your life, how you feel, what you desire. Those are the main building blocks. Even though we have an entire chart that can reveal some of our most important themes to us, the big three are crucial because they have to do with the identity of the soul's journey, aka the person, which is you. So I want to start with this ascendant, the rising sign, the ascendant. So the ascendant will let you know how you approach things. How do you approach life in general? If you had um, a definition or a defined way in which we could say this is how this person usually approaches a matter, this is how they approach situations, this is how they approach people, that would be determined by or that can be determined by your ascendant, your rising sign. The rising sign is dependent on knowing your time of birth. The more accurate you are with the timing of your birth, the more accurate your ascendant will be. Some people do guess within the hour, which can also be quite accurate at times. However, um, because the ascendant changes signs, I believe it's every 2 hours, sometimes an hour 30. It does change pretty frequently. So if you are completely off with your time of birth and you're just guessing, it could give you the incorrect ascendant, the incorrect rising sign, and then the whole chart will not make sense for who you are and the life that you are leading. So it is very important when you are looking for your ascendant or your rising sign to know exactly what time you were born. That's crucial for that. Um, and your ascendant can also reveal to you how you come across to other people. This is how other people see you. You may not see yourself this way. You may not think you are this way at all. But other people may describe you with the traits of your rising sign. This is your presentation, how you present yourself to other people. Sometimes it is without even knowing it. Like you're portraying these traits, these personality traits, and you have no idea. But other people would say, oh, well, this person is this way, that way. They approach things like this. And you're like, no, not me. I'm not like that. So that's your rising sign. And it can also reveal some of or what may feature greatly in your life, one of your biggest themes in this lifetime, because the rising sign is the ruler of the chart, along with the planet that rules that sign. So, whatever the rising sign is, that is your first house. It will usually fall into your first house, which will then determine how the rest of the chart is going to look. It'll govern how the rest of the chart is going to look. There are variations of charts that you can use. I know there's the Placidus chart. There is whole sign charts that you could use. There are so many variations of astrology that you can use to generate a chart. So pick your favorite, do your research, pick your favorite one, and use that one. I would say pick the one that you resonate with the most. Because I know for me personally, I've not necessarily studied Vedic astrology, but I looked into it. I got a little birth chart done, and I didn't really resonate with a lot of my placements there. But using the tropical astrology Placidus chart, I resonate a lot more with that one. And also, your rising sign can reveal some of your physical features. Now, it would be really cool to just say, all Virgo risings look alike, all Taurus risings look alike, but they don't. However, they may have similar features, they may have similarities where you can pick up on whether a person is a particular rising sign based off of, the shape of their eyes, their height, their jawline, their nose, forehead, you know. All of these features are determined by the rising sign. Okay. However, the reason why we all look so different, like you and I could be a Taurus rising, but we look nothing alike, is because there are aspects. The ascendant will aspect certain planets within your birth chart, and those planets, depending on how they are aspecting your ascendant, can change your appearance slightly. Okay. Having a like a Mars Saturn aspect to your ascendant, if you're a female, it can have you looking more masculine, right? Maybe you have a little mustache, a little beard. You could be a little bit more bulky. Maybe you have broader shoulders. As a female, your voice could be deeper. If Mercury is maybe your ruling planet and it's also aspected in a particular way. Um, if you're male and maybe you have aspects to more feminine planets like the moon and Venus, you may find that, maybe you come across a little bit more feminine, not because that's your orientation or that's how you identify, but just physically, that's just how you appear. You seem a lot more feminine. Your features, your facial features could be softer and more feminine. Some males may have curves. You may find that there are certain guys out there who have curvier bodies, who have, pronounced hips, rounder lips or softer, just like a softer face. That guy might be or might have the feminine planets kind of aspecting his ascendant. Um, or even the ruling planet or the ruling sign, the ascendant sign could be more of a feminine one, like a Pisces or like a Libra, Taurus. Those types of males tend to appear way more feminine. But, I'm not getting into, the full scope of that right now. I'm just giving you an idea of what the rising sign can determine and can reveal for each person. And then there's the sun sign, also known as the star sign. This is your self expression, your identity, your ego, your personality. Um, so the difference between an ascendant and a sun sign, star sign, is one is presentation, one is expression. There is a difference, it's not the same thing. The way, like I said, for the ascendant, it's the way other people see you. It's how you present yourself, it's how you approach your life. Your sun is how you identify. This is who I am. That's the sun sign. That's the star sign. And the funny thing is, you are not fully developed into your star sign just because you are born into it. This is an energy that you are becoming. You are becoming more of whatever the star sign is, whatever the sun sign is. You're within your soul's journey, you are becoming more and more of that. Um, you can look into or do some research on evolved and unevolved signs. This is when you're unevolved, you're still portraying some of the more negative traits of that sign. So for example, if you are a Taurus and you are unevolved, that means you are likely to portray more of the negative traits of Taurus, like the laziness and being rigid, stubborn, inflexible, being hyper materialistic, overindulgent, right? And then when you evolve, when you are the evolved Taurus, which are the more positive traits, then, your stubbornness becomes a focus. It becomes a dedication, right? Your indulgence, you're no longer indulging for the sake of having as much as you can, but you're indulging for the pleasure of it, right? For the sensation of it and enjoying the quality of things. It's more about quality, more about yeah, quality over quantity is usually the evolved Taurus. Um, yeah, and you are more, you value things, you value your time, you value relationships. So your values may change as well when you become the evolved Taurus. So this can happen with any sign. So I would say prior to the age of 30, we are all, we are all more so portraying the unevolved traits of whatever sign we are born into, whatever our star sign, sun sign is. And then after 30, because so many things have happened, you've had a Saturn's return, you've had secondary progressions, so much you've been through, like life has lived for you, right? And you are now moving into adulthood, which is after 30, by the way. So now you are, you're changing, you're growing, you're evolving. At least we hope so. Because some people, they miss the train. They miss the train and catch up with it a little bit later. But nonetheless, that's the point, is that you become more of your star sign. You are not just fully that star sign simply because you are born into it. You need to learn how to become the evolved version of that sign. And your expression, this is who you really like, who you want to be. When you imagine the successful version of yourself, because the sun also does rule success, or what we are likely to be successful in. So your sun sign, star sign can reveal that for you. So when you envision the successful version of you, it's probably got the traits of whatever your sun sign is, whatever your star sign is. Those are the things that you are likely to name or to bring up or to envision, imagine yourself being, imagine yourself having. The sun can also reveal some of your personal goals, the things that you want to accomplish, as I just said, success. Um, and this is who you choose. Let me say, this is how you would describe yourself. If somebody said, describe yourself to me, how do you see yourself? Who are you? We are likely to name the traits of our sun sign, our star sign. But if somebody has an interaction with you, they are likely to name the traits of your rising sign, which you may not see yourself as, or you may not fully identify with. And also on that note, there are people who don't resonate at all with their star sign, with their sun sign. Makes sense, because you are evolving into it. There is a great chance that you have some aspects that are kind of making it difficult for you to know yourself, right? To know what your personal identity is. Most people, they create their persona based off of what is needed around them, what other people like, what other people cheer on. So, if, let's say, in your childhood, you see how the kids who are loud and outspoken, they get a lot of attention and a lot of praise when they're young, it's really cute, right? So, when you're younger, you might think, oh, that's the way to go. I need to be as loud as possible. I need to be the loudest person in the room. I need to do outrageous things in order for me to gain attention, in order for me to be worthwhile, worth being friends with, worth talking to, in order for me to be accepted, or to be validated. I need to be loud, because the loud kids were the ones getting the validation, getting the acceptance when you were younger. So you end up creating a personality like that. So it's not the real you, it's just the you that you saw, or it's what you saw, and then you started to desire and envy the validation, the attention that they were getting, and then you made it your own. And then you get to the age of, like, 16, you don't know where you are. Some people it's age 25, some people it's age 30, 35 for some people, and older. It happens, where people just don't know who they are, because they're trying to build a personality based off of what they see around them being validated, instead of just being true to themselves. So if anybody out there is having an identity crisis, you don't know who you are anymore, because you've done a lot of people pleasing, you've done a lot of wanting to fit in, wanting to be accepted. So you've built a personality that is not authentic to you. Have a look at your birth chart, revisit your star sign, read about your star sign, find out more about it. That can help you uncover yourself. And a lot of the times you may find that when you read the information about your sun sign, you may find that you actually do resonate, that some of this information does sound familiar. It sounds like someone you know. It sounds like you, right? But you have been denying yourself. You have been not accepting yourself for whatever reason, right? Because we go through many things in this life. So, yeah, definitely, if you're having an identity crisis or you don't know who you are anymore, Astrology can help. Astrology can help with reconnecting you to yourself and remembering what your identity is. And you don't have to resonate with every single trait about your sign. You don't have to tick every single box for your star sign. It's fine. You could have maybe four traits that you strongly resonate with, that sound like you, that feel like you, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to tick every box. Because there's an entire birth chart. Okay, there's an entire birth chart that builds the soul's journey, that builds this personality, as well as the ascendant, as well as the moon. So you don't need to worry if you don't resonate that much with your star sign. That's perfectly fine. And it may not even need to be your personality, it could just indicate some of your goals. And that would also be fine. It could just indicate your goals. It doesn't necessarily have to be the personality that you choose or that you want for yourself. Because the ascendant can also be very strong, can have a very strong influence on a person, as well as the moon sign, especially the moon sign. It can have a very strong influence on who a person prefers to be. So don't worry about it if you don't resonate with your star sign that much. Like, it's not the end of the world, and it happens. That doesn't mean that astrology doesn't work. Okay, it happens. There's a lot that you can resonate with. Yeah, and even if people say, oh, you're a Virgo, you don't come across as a Virgo. Yeah, because probably not your rising sign. Virgo is probably your star sign, or maybe your moon sign. So yeah, there are levels to this. Let me just say that there are levels to astrology. It's never just one way. So please remember and share with the people who are, into astrology or into star signs at the very least, that you are more than just your star sign. It doesn't begin and end at the star sign. You are more than that. There's way more. There's way more to discover. Okay, so the sign, in conclusion, the sign would then be your self expression, how you express yourself or choose to express yourself, and who you are becoming. And then the last one I want to talk about is your moon sign. So the moon sign reveals who you are deep down inside, right? You could also say the real you, because it's not a presentation, it's not who you think you are, it's just how you feel about yourself. And also, it can stretch to how you feel about the world, but there are other planets for that. But yeah, the moon is who you are deep down inside when nobody's looking. When we strip it down, we strip down the ego, we strip down the presentation, you know the false impressions. Who are you when it comes down to it? That would be revealed by your moon sign. It reveals your heart's desires, right? Your moon can be your heart, because this is where you feel. The moon is where you feel, so it can reveal what your heart's desires are. So if you are someone who's experiencing yourself not knowing what you desire, you're at a place in your life where you're just like, I just don't know what I want. I don't know what I like anymore. The moon sign can help you with that. Your moon sign can reconnect you with the passions of your heart. Okay. The moon sign can reveal what you need to feel emotionally fulfilled in life. So for example, if somebody has a Aries moon, right, chances are they might need to you know be doing something that they are passionate about. I mean, something that sets their hearts on fire, and something that they can also start. They are the ones beginning it, they are the ones doing it physically, and accomplishing it. They get to win at it. So, being in something that you are uh, either the first one to do it, or you are competing to win. All right, Aries likes to win. Aries is very competitive. So, entering competitions, especially where you are able to show off what you are good at, whatever your skill is, and you can show that off, and you can, achieve great things from it, achieve prizes, win prizes, maybe even recognition for it. But it really is about being first. So if you want to be first at something, you're going to choose the thing that you are great at. Um, and you may find that when you do something like that, you feel more emotionally fulfilled, whether you do it, for public recognition, for other people to see you doing it, or you just do it for yourself. Either way, you want to win at it if you are an Aries moon. For someone who's more, let's say, for someone who is a Pisces moon, that person may be emotionally fulfilled by being charitable, volunteering maybe at a pet shelter or at an old age home, doing something for others, doing something where they can show compassion for others and be kind and generous, starting a GoFundMe where they get to donate that money, doing something that they feel spiritually connected to. A Pisces moon person might feel more emotionally fulfilled by doing that. Okay, so knowing your moon sign is very important because it can connect you with your emotional fulfillment. If you are living a life right now that feels to you like it's not emotionally fulfilling, you don't know why are you doing what you are doing, why are you living the way that you are living, and you're exhausted on like a soul level, right? This is not the kind of tired where you could just take a nap and when you wake up you're going to feel fine. This is an internal exhaustion. It's a soul level exhaustion. So reconnecting with your heart's desires and what makes you feel emotionally fulfilled will bring life back into you. It will put the zest of life back into you, and you will feel more fulfilled. And you will also feel like you know your place in life. Not like a stay in your lane kind of vibe, but a this is who I am, and I feel good here. I'm content here, rather than hey, stay in your lane. This is the best you can do, and don't do anything beyond that. No, it's nothing like that. Okay, so it's about fulfillment. So if you're not feeling fulfilled, check your moon sign. Are you doing things that correlate to your moon sign, or that are supporting you in feeling emotionally fulfilled? Definitely check that out. Your moon sign can also reveal how you express emotions. So when you are upset, when you are angry, when you're frustrated, when you're sad, how do you express it? So for someone who has maybe like a Leo moon, that person might be more dramatic. They may want to, you know, cry very loudly, or draw a lot of attention to themselves. Everybody needs to know that they are sad, and the day is ruined, and everybody please look at me, I'm sad. Okay, it can be very dramatic, but that's just how they express themselves. They're not actually really well, they are. It's not necessarily a seeking attention. It's just I need people to know that I feel this way so that they know how to behave around me, because this area here is sensitive. Or otherwise, and also if that person, a Leo moon person, is not getting the type of attention that they want, um, they might kind of just go cry in the corner where they can be as dramatic as they want, and nobody's going to judge them. Nobody's going to tell them they're doing too much, because this is just their expression. This is how the emotions come out. It's very dramatic, can be, right? But this can change depending on the aspects. Not all Leo moons are, a soap opera. Not all Leo moons are, throw things and perform their sadness. Not all Leo moons are like that, all right? It depends on the aspects that you have. That's why it's important to have your birth chart read, actually read, not just interpret um, the sign placement, okay? And that's another thing to keep in mind, that what I'm talking about here is just about the planet and the sign that it's in. There's way more to it than that. This is just a snippet, okay? There's way more to it than that. Not all Leo moons express their emotions the same way. Not all Taurus star signs have the same personality. Not all Virgo risings, Virgo ascendants approach life the exact same way. They may have similarities, but it may not be exactly the same way, because each person has different aspects to their planets and to their angles. So just because you're a Virgo rising and your bestie is a Virgo rising, it doesn't mean you're going to be exactly tit for tat the same. If you have different aspects, you're going to do things a little bit differently. All right. So please keep that in mind. Learn how to do it yourself, or get an astrologer to interpret for you. Okay, so in a nutshell, the moon is your inner world. So I'll recap all of them quickly for you. So the ascendant is your presentation, who others think I am or how others see me. That is the ascendant, the rising sign. And then the sun sign, aka your star sign, is the self expression, who I think I am, what is my identity, right? And also who am I becoming? That is your sun sign, star sign. And then the moon sign is my inner world. What do I desire? How do I feel about myself? How do I feel about others? How do I feel about this and that? It's the inner world. You can even say it's the real me. Okay, so that is the difference between your big three. It's presentation, self expression, and emotional fulfillment.